Story 1. I have a huge ego because of my story. Confessions. I never really noticed it, but ever since I was a kid, I've had a huge ego just because I was born outside of Brazil. My parents, who are Brazilian, lived in Europe for many years before I was born. I was born during their last years there, and when I was still very young, we moved to Brazil. From the moment I realized at school that I was treated differently just because I was born abroad, I unconsciously started embracing the idea that I was special, but it wasn't something I was aware of. It was automatic. I had my friends, and in general I was a good person to others, but deep down in my subconscious, I knew I was special. I only started realizing this as an adult, and I've been working on it, treating myself as an equal. It sounds crazy to say, I'm working on treating myself like everyone else, LOL, but it's the truth. Honestly, this probably even had a bit of xenophobia mixed in. It ties into that idea that Brazil is less than other countries, especially Europe. Story 2. I thought I wouldn't achieve anything in life. Until today. Confessions. When you're a kid, people tell you that you can conquer the world if you want to, and I believed it until my first harsh reality check. I realized I was a slow learner. I struggled with reading, writing, even basic math, and I always seemed to do things the opposite of what was asked. I was called stupid and slow, voted the dumbest in the group, and even insulted by a teacher who called me a dumb brunette, saying I was just cute and nothing more. And to top it all off, when I was just a child, my cousin told me everything I made was trash and that I would never create a game because everything I did was pure garbage. A few days ago, I got a sketchy email saying I had passed a college entrance exam and could enroll through a link. Who wouldn't be suspicious? Hasn't life already kicked me in the gut enough times? I ignored it completely, especially since I was recovering from a nasty crisis. Back in school, I had a great teacher who encouraged me in some projects. I was the first student to have my own solo art exhibition. I participated in a school podcast as an extra assignment, and it got so much attention that even the afternoon class came to talk to me about it. I was part of the school's first blog. I was one of the very few, about 18 people, invited by the administration to be in the school's 20th anniversary documentary. I declined. I received a certificate signed by a teacher for completing an extracurricular activity, and I almost gave a lecture at a neighboring rival school. I also went viral for the first time by posting on Twitter, but that's where the problem started. The first 20 people were cool, then came 2,000, and suddenly I had millions of views. I felt like a fraud, an imposter. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that people were genuinely willing to pay for my work, even when they had other options. A foreign client kept commissioning artwork from me for months, paying in dollars instead of in-game currency. The truth is, I thought I had never done anything meaningful in life. My biggest fear was dying without having something to be proud of. I suspect I've had anxiety since I was a child, but now it has snowballed into something much worse. My back, ribs, and lungs hurt. I feel like I'm going to black out and die from lack of air. I stop breathing in my sleep. This damn pain doesn't go away, not even with strong injections. And all because I thought my art was mediocre, that I was doomed to nothingness. I never developed any skill besides this one. I never took pride in any accomplishment because I convinced myself I had none. No significant qualities. Just a dumb, lazy girl to the very end. I thought I'd die getting run over or from some illness. Maybe even throw myself in front of the first car that passed by. I never mentioned my achievements in any conversation. After all, what's interesting about me? Nothing. Achievements? None. I was still just a weirdo, a nerdy loser. Until today. My principal, who was my teacher and my mentor, sent me voice messages celebrating I was the only student in the entire school to pass the São Paulo state exam in 2 years. That's 15,000 spots for millions of students. 15,000 spots. Millions of students. In the entire state of São Paulo. What? I don't even know what to say. It feels unreal. Hearing voice messages from someone I admire so much, crying while congratulating me, filled me with immense joy. Holy shit, what the fuck? I wasn't even taking it seriously until this moment. So it was all real. I actually passed? I thought I was dumb for being one of the last to finish the test. Actually, even in the NM exam, I was the last to finish, and I didn't even complete the essay. Unfortunately, I didn't accept the spot. Or rather, fortunately for me, lol. I had already given up on any creative career, aka art. Even though I come from a family of artists, those who pursued it ended up broke and screwed. The least screwed one is my idiot father, who didn't work in the field. He even thought I'd get pregnant young. Screw you, you piece of shot. I want to pursue digital arts. I'm going to study animation design. I don't care if it doesn't make money. I'll do it for personal satisfaction, and I have plenty of that. Today, I finally realized that maybe, just maybe, that little voice in my head was wrong. It hit me. I've achieved more than I ever imagined. I underestimated myself so much. It all feels like a lie. All of it. I don't know what the future holds, who I'll become, if I'm meant for something greater or not, if it'll work out, if it'll go wrong, or if I'll even wake up alive tomorrow. For now, I just want to make it all worth it. Story 3. I had never messed up this badly before. Vent. I got a new job, no experience, but in the past 2 weeks, I've already learned 60% of everything. People are really liking me, and I've even gotten compliments. But since it's in my nature to not know how to take a compliment without screwing up, today my boss told me to take a Corolla and maneuver it into the shop. Everything was fine up to that point. I went to get the Corolla, took a turn around the store to back it in properly, and that's when it all started. I got to the spot, started reversing, but I was completely spaced out. I kept going in reverse until I heard a loud bang. I crashed the car and dented it. One of the employees ran to tell the manager, and when the manager saw it, he just told me to keep going. I didn't get yelled at or anything. Some people even tried to calm me down. A coworker who works with me in a duo helped pop the dent back out, but you can still tell the car was hit. It's not a huge deal, but yeah, there's a visible dent. What do you guys think is going to happen to me? LOL. Report 4. I got attached to a crazy stranger on the train. He's definitely bald, but he hasn't accepted it yet, and still holds onto a few wisps of hair on top of his head. Almost 30, dressed somewhat formally, carrying one of those crossbody bags that rest on the chest. Completely ordinary if it weren't for his temperament. The first time we met, it was pouring rain, and he was extremely agitated. I mean, sure, we were all pissed about being crammed into a wet train, but he took it to another level, shouting commands like, "I can't take this anymore, train operator. The train won't move. I'm going to be late for work, and it's all because of this garbage system." Maybe a bit over the top, but still understandable given the situation. Then I started seeing him more often in my weekly routine. I always prefer taking the last car, and on certain days when I finish teaching early, I get to head home around lunchtime. Under these circumstances, he is always there. And, also always, he is furious about how the train is running. For fuck's sake, train operator, look how long this train takes to close the doors. I can't stand this squeaky brake noise. What a piece of crap. All of this just so I can get screwed over at work. And this will happen regardless of the train's speed, the weather, or the time of day. My Don Quixote will throw his tantrums even if the train line is running in absolute normalcy. He will scream that he's late, whether it's 11:30, 12:30, or 1 p.m. He will rage against the system, whether the sun is shining or it's pouring rain. It bothers me and the other passengers, but never enough for anyone to intervene. I get the feeling that after a few minutes, everyone in the car silently agrees that he's just crazy and leaves it at that. The whole train goes quiet, almost like an audience at a classical symphony, while this guy spews the most absurd things as background noise. He directs his curses first at someone, then at no one, and finally at everything and everyone in a crescendo of rage. And honestly, it's not always annoying. Some days when the train is actually slow, or it's raining, or I'm feeling revolutionary because rice prices went up, his rants stop being just noise and start sounding like a manifesto. Sometimes someone even agrees. I've even heard applause at the end of the month, of course. I think after a while it becomes comforting, almost like a sermon. Even when I leave college earlier or later than usual, I always rush to the back of the train, hoping to find my musician pastor revolutionary. Who knows what else he has to say, or curse about. Maybe one of these days we'll all march behind him and overthrow the state. Report 5. I hate the Brazilian army. Rant. First of all, I somehow, don't ask me how, made it past the army designation phase. And as the good gay man that I am, I absolutely hate doing intense physical exercise, especially in a place where I don't feel comfortable. Also, I have a crippling fear of insects. Seriously, I hate every kind of bug, whether big or small, but back to the point. I'm desperate to get discharged. I've reached the cursed final phase, the post-designation stage. Please, help me. I don't want to be stuck in there with a bunch of dudes showering together all naked. It might seem contradictory since I'm gay, but I hate feeling uncomfortable in environments like that. I value my privacy and personal space. If anyone has been discharged at this stage, please tell me what to do.